were very successful again this year, as usual. You came through with you bagged the big one. Let's talk about it. What do you do to keep yourself in your best tip-top shape to do what you love to do?
I want to really focus on the outdoor industry and make this not hunting specific. And so I want to give you a couple statistics really quick. One, the outdoor industry as we know it in the United States, there's 331,000, almost 332,000 people. And that industry, as far as the percentage of people participating, has grown since 2007 dramatically. In 2007, we seen somewhere around 139 million people that were participating in some type of an outdoor activity. Beginning of 2022, we set the record. We had 165.6 million people participating in outdoor activities. And the reason that that's important is that we want to call out a couple of the activities. Hunting is important, but if we're going to talk to your broad listener base, the top five activities participated by all people in outdoor activities: running, 64.5 million runners in the United States; hiking, 58.7 million people participating; fishing, 52.4 million; biking, 51.4 million; and camping, 45.9 million. So to speak to a really large group of people, not just the focus on hunting, which is a little bit lower down that list, but still very, very possible or very participated in. The most important thing is your general health. Now, this statistic shows that people from all ages, meaning youth all the way through they're no longer on the planet, are participating in activities. And what's interesting, when you look at the gender percentage, because that's where this really gets interesting, hunting has had an increase in participation from females and youth for a lot of years. But in general, if we look at all activities right now, 46.5% of all people participating in outdoor sports are female, and 53.5% are male. So when you look at runners, hikers, biking, and all those top five activities, we're seeing a really equal distribution. So I want to call that out, because when people think of hunting, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, the average age of the hunter, well, right now hunting is, the average participant is probably over 40 years old for just hunting, because that particular sport has a certain higher age limit. So main thing, going back to what you've always taught, which is health: sleeping, eating, activity, staying healthy to participate in all of these activities. So when I look at that, what really strikes me when you think of the outdoor activities is the next generation. And a couple of things. One, I want to call out one of the sources that I'm calling information from, which is really important to cite, the outdoor industry .org. So it's outdoorindustry.org, does annual reports on all this. They get their data from all of the companies that sell outdoor products to surveys and everything else. But it's really important because it helps us track what's going on. And it's interesting to see that America's children are spending more time outdoors in the past decade, which has really rapidly accelerated kids ages 6 through 12 and then ages 10 through 17, where they look at that. There's 20.9 million 6 to 12-year-olds participating as of last year. There's 14.4 million 13 to 7-year-olds participating, which is growing. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that the top five activities I indicated to you, biking, camping, fishing, and running, were all common in the same number. But the interesting thing is, when you look at the younger ages, their fifth category was skateboarding. And so doing something that we see it a lot on campus. We see people running those things. A really scary statistic to me, thing to be aware of, is the most popular non-outdoor recreation activity for kids, according to the statistics, is video games.
So Doug, let's talk about this year. You had some success, brother. Congratulations on that.
Well, thanks, Tom. Every year is a success, and I want to define what success is for me when I go. One, that I'm going. Two, that I'm able to go. And I know that sounds like a more what we call leveled up character answer, meaning that I can still go outside. But I have a lot of friends, some of which are no longer on the planet. So they're no longer going on those journeys with us in person. So, just being able to go outside and enjoy. Very pleased to have gone. This is, I guess I've been hunting with my dad since I was about 10. So this is my 45th year of hunting. I'm 55 this year. And I've been hunting with a bow since I was 12. So I've been hunting with a bow for 43 years. Did get a really nice 9-point this year. It is a personal best for me with my bow. My entire life has been about learning to use and appreciate the resources. So I grew up in Michigan, and in Michigan, hunting is very active, but we hunt for food. And so, if you're going in the garden and you're hungry for a tomato, you pick a tomato that's red and it's ready to be picked. You may not size it up and try to say, is this the very biggest tomato on the plant? So when we talk about how they score and how they measure certain things, there's the textbook, or what you would say the record book, and I want to call that out. The record book for archery hunting is Pope and Young, and Pope and Young, Pope-Young.org is where you'd see the records. If you're hunting with a firearm or not a bow, it would be Boone and Crockett. And so they have different ways of scoring the animal, generally measuring the horns, whether they're typical or non-typical. And so for me, I've never been a record book hunter, but one of my goals in life is to actually get a record book animal, because it's just really kind of like reaching for that next level rung on the ladder. I'd like to. To that being said, this year I shot my best 9-point ever with my bow. It was very successful. Hunt was very memorable. And I had my son, Nicholas, was here, and I actually had him. I came back after harvesting the animal, and I said, I'm going to need some help. And he kind of looked at me funny, like, you don't normally need help. And I'm like, no, I really need some help. I can't move this animal. It's a big animal. He kind of laughed. And when we got there, I had already started working on it. And I said to him, well, go ahead and turn it around. He grabbed a hold of it and he went to move it. He goes, what's it stuck on? I said, gravity. He looked at me and he's like, what? And I said, it's big. It's bigger than what we normally take. It's going to take both of us to move this and bring it back to the house so that we can finish processing it and turning it into food. It was a good year.